Holla at your boy. You on Ezim TV with your boy, the one and only Stiggz Stigalo.
That's right, Stiggz Stigalo, aka Stigalo Swag No Flat. You've just been blacktivated. You're already aware. We are activated. We are in person. We are appreciative. We are thankful. Shout out Ezim. Yeah, we in the building, man. Let's go. Let's rock.
What's up, man? Yeah, I want the intro to be definitely, organic. You know what I mean? Your energy is always on 10, which is a good thing. And, there's a lot of brothers who have the grumpy mood, the grumpy face. You always with high energy. And it's a plus for the world, plus for the community.
Thank you.
And I just gotta ask you, man, where all this energy come from, bro?
Ooh-wee. Hey, listen. I'll say this: when you've been down, when you've been held back, when you've been might have been forgotten about, might have been not appreciated. You know what I mean?
Right.
I fight for those cats. That's why I the underdog. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what I'm here for. That energy comes from the underdog. It's more underdogs than favorites. You know what I'm saying? So I muster up that energy from there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if I'm gonna get a little more personal, then I say I was taught to be expressive. I was taught to speak clearly. I was taught to get my point across. I was taught to enunciate, as my mom would always say, or my sister, enunciate my words to make sure that I'm heard and my words are respected when they come through. So and the more energy we give out, the more energy we get back. So shout out to the people out there. The jewel for y'all is the more energy you give out, the more energy you give back. So I'm giving you energy so you can feed me back energy.
That's what's up.
Reciprocal.
Town favorite, man. So where, as far as the foundation where Stiggz has roamed, it would be the town of Rochester, New York.
Let's go.
Alright, so back then, running around as a little hip hopper, what was it like, just climbing into the game and just small town? What really injected you with the hip hop bug?
Okay, that's a phenomenal question. So I gotta ask specific. Do you mean like what's the first time that I was like falling in love with hip hop, like from that space, or after? Okay, so wow. All right, so my first time ever hearing hip hop, my first time ever hearing the sound was Planet Rock by African Bombardment. You know what I'm saying? That the drums of it hit me, and I wasn't even aware. I learned later on how much culture was in the Zulu Nation. Look, the Zulu Nation. It's African Bombardment, Zulu Nation. You know what I mean? And how deeply intricate what they were saying and what they were representing was. It wasn't just good music to dance to. It was a frequency, controlled vibration that was healing through music. Because we got to understand that when we talk about the Zulu Nation and just hip hop in itself, just talk about hip hop in its birth was started in New York, in the Bronx, and it was started by the gangs in the Bronx. You see what I'm saying? And I learned that those gangs were formed. Shout out to Lord Jamar. Those gangs were formed to protection against the white gangs that was causing havoc at that time. So the birth of I believe the energy that comes through hip hop, especially with like African Bambaataa, the revolutionary spirit of Zulu Nation, comes from that foundational resistance of some oppressions and things that they were dealing with inside of the Bronx, but it was also a spiritual thing as well that manifested as we can see through the world. So my first time getting touched by the soul of hip hop was African Bambaataa, Zulu Nation, and the name of that track was called Planet Rock.
That's gangster. That's gangster.
Never forget it. Never forget
Planet Rock. Shout it out, that track.
Shout it out, Planet Rock. Matter of fact, shout out my man Keith. Provide, you know what I mean? Shout out QB as well, because the name of my first project that I was ever going to do was called Planet Rock. You know what I mean? They probably got the, you know what I mean, back in the day, to do covers, we drew them. You know what I mean? If you had an artist on your squad, he could draw a cover. They'll draw your cover. And my man drew a tape cover for me that I didn't drop at that time called Planet Rock, and it was real dope.
Wow, make it nice and customized.
Customized art, more hip hop.
So the earlier days, you heard, you know, Planet Rock, and then you got injected to the game of hip hop. Were you a solo act coming in, or was you into like a crew when you first started making your own music?
Well, I was writing obviously, or into hip hop before I got with a crew. However, my crew is legendary. Shout out to Timberland Foundation. The funniest thing, I'm gonna tell you what's about to make this a dope interview too, cause you asking me these hip hop questions, and my man L is in the building. You know what I mean? Because he was there from the get. Okay. Like he was there every step of the way.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I gotta give a big shout out to him. And matter of fact, outside of Bambaataa, right? We're going through elementary school. I used to we listened to hip hop, but what was dope was he has an older sister. That was always in tune with hip hop as well. You know what I'm saying? So we got to keep in mind that ladies is always on tune to what's next. You know what I'm saying? So L had tapes and different things, so I was able to hear it a lot at his house early in the morning before school. We went to the same school and we lived in the same neighborhood.
Definitely got to get L on in the next segment, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for real.
So
we definitely get L drop some jewels on the if he's you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So those is my along with my older cousins, my older female cousin Lane, who used to really sit down on Saturdays and make tapes on Saturday and Friday nights, and we'd listen to hip hop all night and play them the next day. So I was up on a lot of the newest sounds of hip hop when it was organic, and that's what I came up on. So that made me extra fall in love with hip hop.
Right. But circling back to the question of being an individual artist or a collective group, I'm understanding Timberland Foundation back then, you know, had a lot of members. That, you know, of course later on, you know, hip hop evolution, you know, we branched up and do our own thing, but back then they was somewhat, you know, compared to like the collective of Wu-Tang or.
Hey man, listen, I'm
so many members there that was
yes.
sharp. So would you mind telling us how many members or what was?
Hey, listen, we had many members, right? So let me go through this though, because this is probably one of my most favorite times in my life. My crew, Timberland Foundation. The artists that are in there, for my man AB, Clip, Hassan, Quan the Bomb, Country, Rest in Power, Shakim, Wiz, Amen, also known as AZ.
Wiz mean DJ Wiz?
Not DJ Wiz, my man Wizzo, you know what I mean? And others, if I'm forgetting somebody, please don't blast me, you know what I'm saying? However, what was dope about my squad is everybody had different skill sets, you know what I'm saying? And were super nice. So for me, my favorite MCs weren't in the industry. So I went from a space of my favorite MCs being MCs inside the music industry. Of course, you know everybody's our favorites from the Rakims and certain them. However, my favorite MCs were in my crew.
Right.
Hands down. You know what I'm saying? My favorite MCs, and we traveled through the city. We battled. We did shows, and it's such a phenomenal part of my growth as an MC. That made me hone in my skills. So early, I fell in love with hip hop. And I called myself writing, and I was a rapper. However, when I got with my squad, we sharpened each other's. It's like a dojo. And I'm talking about master MCs. Not no weak MCs, nobody weak in the crew. Master MCs, very creative as well as righteous. We wasn't like out here on no bull. We wasn't out here talking crazy. We wasn't talking about destroying our community. We wasn't out here destroying our community. We always felt we were coming from a righteous and positive space. You know what I mean?
Even through the battles and all.
Even through the battles and all. Even through the battles and all. And what's dope is we didn't realize even with how much a bunch of the people that we battled back in the day, how as we got older our relationships grew. You know what I'm saying? So we might have been battling some crews or different people out there. However, as we grew and got older, these also became people that were very cool with us. You know what I'm saying? As adults, a lot of the time. You know what I'm saying?
How much has the crab and the barrel mentality affect artists in Rochester? How much has that
affected? Like in which way?
You know, it's always been the whispers of, the crab, somebody holding the next one back, not, pushing the next one forward, hating. I mean, what was it like back then as far as the support system with artists amongst even rival, artists? Because I even noticed, even though some people battled crews, but they still had a high level respect for crews.
Right.
Today, you got younger artists. I don't know if it's, certain genres of music. I know different genres of music. They smoking on their ops and stuff. They disrespecting the rival. What's it like? What was it like then and now with the crab in the barrel mentality?
Okay. So back in the day, you definitely had a lot of different crews who performed, battled, and did competed. You know what I mean? Back in the day, everybody was trying to get on. Let's just say get on in the industry or get their names further expanded out in the hip hop community of the streets. So and we also shared one outlet in order to be heard. So the outlet that we had back in the day was radio, and we didn't have mainstream radio. We had underground radio. Shout out to Chris G, Eviev, and their whole squad. That was everybody's on the underground hip hop community's outlet. So
if you got your stuff played on that,
if you got your stuff played on there, if you was able to go up there and rhyme, if you was able to be even spoke about on the radio by them, it was a great feeling.
Right.
You know what
and
I'm
that's
saying?
how much saturated it is now. We're having so many platforms, and cause shout out to Chris G still doing it.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm saying? So man, that's something.
So the crab in the barrel was more, we didn't see it as crab in the barrel at the time. We just was battling each other. It wasn't like a hate. You had to kind of prove yourself. So it wasn't like I could just hate you out of your position, or I could just talk bad about you. Nah, people wanted to see what you could do on the microphone. You know what I'm saying? Or hear your sounds.
Right.
And little did we were aware back then, we didn't have the, just to drop this jewel, I used to always wonder back in the day why people in Rochester or upstate New York didn't get on in the hip hop industry. We always had talent, master talent, and I used to be like, why? We all probably asked that question. And this is what my studies have learned, what I learned. It was a business, and we didn't have the demographics up here to support the industry's business. So for instance, if we have a population here, let's just say 200,000-300,000 people, right? How many of those people listen to hip hop? Okay, how many of those people listen to hip hop between the ages of 15 and let's say 30? Right? How many listen to this style of hip hop? Right? So as you can start to see that 300,000, 400,000 starts to dwindle, right? On potential buyers or potential supporters of financial hip hop, and they were looking at the finance of it. So that's why all you great artists out there that have all the skills, it was never our fault, was never your fault. They wasn't designed to pick up artists from a smaller market like Rochester, New York, or Buffalo, right? So let's fast forward to now. To stay on the crabs in the barrel topic, and the differences between then and now. Nowadays we have the internet. You have 1 million people watching all the time. You have 1 billion shows that you could get on and put your music out on. You don't have to wait for radio to be able to get your music out to the world. At all. You don't have to. So the only crab in the barrel at this space is when people may go out of their way to try to bash what you're doing. You see what I'm saying? That's and that starts to show their personality, right?
And the world is big.
And the world is huge. You don't have to. I mean, the competition thing nowadays is a crab in a barrel because you don't have to try to compete with somebody in order to get your wave out.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And
there's still clicks.
Yeah, and it happens, right? And understanding what, okay, so let's go to the click thing.
Yes, sir.
If you have a click, people in your clique should have a job towards the main goal, right? So whatever your main goal is, if it's a clique, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe some people just hang out. So I'm thinking of, as far as cliques go, there should be a goal. Like there should be somebody who's working on the promotion part. You got artists. You got somebody who does merch. You got somebody who records. You got these different things to make quote unquote a click, right? To me, a functioning click. So when I hear click, I think of action. I think it's clicking.
Right.
So moving forward. So with the opportunities that I hear today to get your product out there, to get your merch out there, to get your music out there. When I think of click, I look at it more than just a bunch of people that can rhyme together. Like, what's the goal, what's the purpose, and what are people doing to move forward, and how people get paid. Because as we become adults, we also learn that you don't have to wait to get paid by hip hop. Right. So now, if it's your click, find ways to work off percentages, right? So now everybody has an incentive to keep working, right? So if it's 100%, everybody you get. So when the check comes through, everybody is aware of what they're getting paid for. Right. You know what I mean? And that'll stop, to me, in-house fighting. That'll slow down crabs in the barrel. You don't have time to worry about hating on somebody else or what they are doing or aren't doing for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What's your take on the community's exposure to underground artists at this level now? There's a lot of showcases at a high level, and there's some, underground artists who really don't have, to me, a place to go. I remember Dublin back in the days. What would be inviting to some of these establishments?
First of all, shout out to Hometown Heroes. Shout out Saint, shout out Manny Green, shout out Raab Entertainment. We do something every month called Hometown Heroes. So if you're an independent artist, you could come down and perform right here on Dewey, and it's safe where we at. We got security and everything. The houses are always packed, and you can get up there and perform your craft. The dope thing that I'll say about nowadays, another thing is opposed to before. This is the most support that I've seen through independent hip hop. Right. Most now, it's a phenomenal time to be an artist. It's a phenomenal time to put your product out there and market yourself. When they do these live shows over at the building, I was surprised to see how much support that artists and people were giving artists they didn't know at all. Right. In our day, you only cheered for who you rock with. That's just what it was. You know what I'm saying? People running out there. You didn't have crews really cheering for each other out there. You know what I'm saying?
So you got like an encouraging environment.
Very encouraging, man. Listen, it's about building. So I'm not into the competition thing that causes people to separate. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'd rather work together so we can conquer bigger